look at us here. Gosh, we're in the lights, camera, studio, everything. You write a book and you get like put on TV. We're actually here with our book cover designer, Laura Sayegh. Sayegh. I already screwed it up. Close enough. But Laura is Laura's Design Studio. Welcome, Laura.
Thank you.
So you're in the book, The Best Business Minds in Tampa Bay, right? The advice you need to motivate, inspire, and improve your business. So tell us a little bit about Laura's Design Studio.
Well, I've been designing for quite a while now, and I don't know, I've just always done design and worked in ad agencies, worked in marketing, in-house agencies, and in 2014 started Laura's Design Studio.
All by yourself. You just said, I'm done with corporate America.
I'm done with corporate America, and I went on my own. It was kind of scary though.
Yeah.
The first 2 weeks in was crazy because I ended up with the largest account I ever had, which was Bright House Networks, if you remember back then.
We do remember. Now they're like Spectrum. Spitum.
Yeah. So my cousin in Detroit, she knew a friend who worked at Bright House, and she knew the marketing manager.
Right.
And through that, I was able to get in. They had gone out to lunch, they were friends, and she said, oh, I'm looking for a new design firm to partner with us. And so she recommended me, and I went in, and I had a lot of background from my previous companies like Verizon and Bank of America and all that. And they're like, oh, you're a natural. So
boom, you started out with a really big client. I like that. Well, that's kind of like financial security, right?
Yeah, that was the hard part. It was starting with the financial security. You got to have your backup, but you don't want to have to use that backup until
until you have to use
really
the
have
backup.
to.
Right, but it's kind of like that song. So, Laura, tell us about why you chose to be in the Best Business Minds of Tampa Bay, other than being one of the best business minds in Tampa Bay.
Well, RGA, so when I first started out on my own business, I didn't know anything about networking. And Chuck Vosberg, actually, I had linked in with him, and I said, hey, I'm starting my own business. And he's like, I got a great group that you want to go check out. And I'm like, oh, I don't know anything about networking. And he's like, don't worry, I'll be there with you, I'll help you through it. And so he took me to my first event, and there you were.
There we were, and the rest is history.
The rest is history.
What is it, like 7, 8 years later, something like that? Yeah, a long time.
Yeah.
So yeah, you've been around the networking world, the block, you know, the good things, the bad things. So what are kind of some of the things you do at Laura's Design Studio? Because I know your tagline, dream it, design it, do it. Yeah. But a lot of people may not, this may be their first meeting you.
Yeah, so we do logos, brochures, websites. I print also. Anything like menus, door hangers. I mean, you name it. If you can print it, I can design it. Or if it's online, I can design that as well.
Look, they're featuring your website right now. How cool is that?
Oh yeah, Best of the Bay. I wonder how that got
happened. Yeah, you were voted, but let's go to that. You were Best of the Bay with Creative Loafing like 2 or 3 years in a row.
Yeah.
Like, go figure. Little Laura's Design Studio.
But
well, in our mind, you were Best of the Bay. I think the ballot was stuffed. It was fake ballots.
Fake ballots. Okay.
So you do business cards, business printing, menus. I have seen the universal transformation from really crappy menu to menu you could read.
Yes.
You know, there was so many, like, I've seen the befores and afters. If you're a restaurant out there and your menu sucks, call Laura, she can help you. I mean, it's ridiculously different. With people, and they don't realize that's the very first image of their brand.
Right, that is their brand.
Put in their hand, right? And something that's photocopied in the back room off of one of those old machines.
Well, plus you want to entice your visitors, you know.
Sure.
So taking photos of your food is helpful, and putting it on your menu is helpful because that's what people order. They're like, oh, that looks good.
Right.
I want that.
And well, I'm a picture menu orderer. Yeah. Like I order always from the pictures, but you also do printing. You do like pop-up banners and business cards and signs and all kinds of things.
And book covers.
And book covers. I like it.
So, yeah.
And you even were reactive when there was an issue with that we got you the wrong spelling of one of our authors' last names, and you fixed that lickety
right
split
away. Yeah.
for the virtual copy. So we're very excited for that.
Yeah.
So tell us, how can people reach you?
Well, you can go to laurasdesignstudio.com. My email is laura@laurasdesignstudio.com.
And it's Laura, not one of
Yeah.
those wackadoodle spellings that they do today.
And my number is 813-416-2687. And if you call and I don't answer, just leave a message or text me and I'll get back to you.
I like it. And you work literally all over the United States, but
I
your
do.
primary focus here is in the Tampa Bay region.
Yeah.
Right, but
I
yeah,
have
you're...
clients in Louisiana, I have clients in California, just all over.
What's the funnest thing for you to redesign for somebody?
Well, I like doing logos because that's when you're starting the brand.
Right.
And so I like to start with a new client who needs either they're starting a new business or they're rebranding. So that's the fun part. And then I can work on a brand guide for them. And then we can start, with the business cards, the brochures, the websites, and just kind of keep building on that.
I like it. Laura's Design Studio. Dream it, design it, do it. So Laura, what in 2022, what do you hope to have come out of the book?
Well, would love more referrals.
More referrals, but you're going to go on a speaking tour now that you're a published author?
I'm on one now.
You're on one now, but we're going to get you on one in 2022. So you did a great job. Thank you for coming all this way. I can't thank you enough.
Yeah.
We love having you as a member. We love your logo and thoughtful advice, but you also do business cards,
Yeah.
right? What other printing? Menus, business cards?
Well,
Check her website, laurasdesignstudio.com.
Banners, signs, anything you can print.
Anything, if you can
If
print
you
it,
can
she
dream
can.
it, I can design it.
I like it. So we'll leave it there. Thank you, Laura from Laura's Design Studio. Well, welcome back. We are here again featuring the authors of The Best Business Minds of Tampa Bay. I have to my right Mike Clayton, but he goes by Michael, I think. That's your author name, Michael Clayton, right?
That is my author name.
Yeah,
Yes.
so he's with Refi with an I Insurance.
Rely with
Reli with an I Insurance. So Mike, you've been in insurance for a while.
Yeah.
What's your favorite thing about this insurance thing we speak of?
Definitely meeting new people and being able to help those people grow their business as far as their insurance needs go. It's rewarding to have a startup come to you like, hey, I need general liability to get in the door here, so can you help me? And then knowing that you help be a part of that is rewarding.
I like it. So you help small business owners get all kinds of business. You get liability insurance to officers and directors insurance. Tell us all the different.
There's so many errors and omissions, workers' comp, commercial property,
That's a big one.
cyber liability, which is huge right now.
People kind of skip over that one,
Yeah.
which surprises me. We're mostly online, so we need to have you quote that because it's a necessary evil, unfortunately.
In this day and age, you can hit send on a button and it can go to Japan, so everybody's connected.
Right.
So it's one of the easiest ways for these new scammers or criminals to, commit fraud or whatever they're doing.
So with business insurance, tell us kind of the different modalities that walk us through the process of a new business. So they come to you, you find out what they do. Let's say I'm a landscaper.
If you're a landscaper and you recently formed a new business, so you have an entity, whether it be an LLC, corporation, you come to me, you're like, hey, I need general liability because I'm going to go work at this homeowners association and they want to make sure our company's insured. case we kick up any rocks and some windows start breaking.
Right.
So with an example like that, that's going to be based off of payroll for the owners, employees, and if they use any subcontractors when we factor in the sub costs. And that's pretty much how we derive our premium.
Okay, so and most complexes require an X amount of insurance to come on property.
Yeah, so nowadays, 1 million per occurrence, 2 million aggregate is the most common for contractors.
All right.
So each claim could pay up to $1 million, but the policy won't pay out more than 2 million for the year.
That'd be a lot of windows.
That's a lot of windows.
That's a lot of windows. All right, so the best business minds in Tampa Bay, what made you jump on board?
It just seemed like a very easy and lucrative way to get your name out there. Market the business.
Sure.
I was thinking of the right word, sorry.
That's okay.
And just have people read a little bit about your story
Right.
and how you got to where you're at now.
I know, and yours is an interesting one because you've been in the business and then taking this whole leap, right? I mean,
Correct. So I was at an agency for about 4 years, and I was green to the industry when I went into that. I learned everything that I learned from that agency, and I'm very grateful for that. But then an opportunity presented itself to me that I just couldn't pass up.
right. Hey, nobody ever shames anybody for doing better, going better for themselves. So what makes Reli Insurance different than all the other insurance carriers?
Well, we are very small, so that makes us customer service based, so we put the needs of our customers first and foremost. Being a small agency, though, and an independent agency, we are still connected with most of the top carriers in the nation. There's only a few that we haven't got our hands on yet.
I like it. So you have the opportunity to shop around it. Some people don't realize that when you go to specific insurance agencies, you are purchasing their brand of insurance and only their brand of insurance.
Correct. So there's captive agencies, which means, you know, Allstate, State Farm, Geico, where they can only write within their agency, State Farm, or whatever example
Right.
is. As an independent agent, we can shop it out to get the best price and coverage for our clients.
And rated insurance agency, because aren't insurance companies rated as well? Isn't there A+ insurance companies and B insurance companies?
Absolutely. So going back to the contractors example, a lot of these vendors that are putting together the requirements, they want to see you with an AM++ best rated carrier, and
Right.
so you have to make sure you have those carriers that can fit those needs, and so we have all of those.
What's like 3 insurance advice you could give to the people watching today?
First and foremost, every year, shop your policy with at least 3 different carriers.
Okay, shop your policy.
That's the main one I would say. Just make sure you get like 3 or 4 quotes, because that way you know that your agent did their diligence in finding you the best policy. If it's the same carrier, great. And if not, you can go to a new one where you have a better price and either the same coverage or better.
All right, so you're able to shop policies for folks, right? Because you're independent.
Absolutely.
So how can people get in touch with you?
So you can go to our website, www.reliinsurance.com, and there's 2 I's right there. Or you can call the agency, 727-897-5450, and just ask for Mike.
And so, Mike, you had said before, this is your first opportunity for being an author. So how's the experience been so far?
It's been wonderful. I mean, coming in here, and I'm sorry I missed the book signing, but getting to sign the few leftovers that we have, I felt important.
I know. Well, we have more. Those were just ones we brought in to give to media today that gets to see this this broadcast. So we're excited to have you. It's great to have you in RGA. What's one positive thing you could tell us about RGA for our viewers watching at home?
Yeah, so RGA, it's one of the best tools that I've found where you can meet new people and actually become friends with those people and then help each other's businesses grow.
So yeah, we like to say we're a family. Find another member and learning why. So Michael Clayton, Reli Insurance with 2 I's in the website. You can find him on our website as well, rganetwork.net. Mike, thank you very much. Thank you for being a published author.
Yes, thank you.
He did say, we just won't repeat it. We'll see you with the next author in just a minute.
All right.
Welcome back. We are here with yet another author of The Best Business Minds in Tampa Bay, Miss Elisabeth Butterfield. We're so excited to have you. Elisabeth, you created a company the same time RGA got started called...
Perfect Payment Systems. Born the same time your company was born.
Yeah, so, and because you've done credit card processing for so long, you started your own company because...
There was no one company that really fit all sorts of businesses, whether you took one credit card a year or you took several credit cards a year. You've been through several companies that I've represented.
I have.
And you saw the different dynamic this company brought to the table or that one. And
right, you kind of have the ability to take people from infancy when they first get started because nobody really knows how much they're going to charge, to companies that charge $100,000, $200,000, $500,000 a year, millions a year. Some people call you the Oprah Winfrey of connections, right?
you get a customer, everybody gets a customer.
So tell us how that got started, because you actually coined yourself the Connection Queen.
Yes, I love the aspect of my business where I am actually bringing clients and different inroads to business to my customers, because that's what people go into business for, is to make more money,
right,
to get clients and to get customers and business, and I love connecting the dots.
I love the fact of how involved you are with somebody who chooses you to represent them in credit card processing. I mean, you're tirelessly promoting below 35 below.
35 below, my
right?
favorite ice cream
With
place.
the ice cream place that they make it right in front of you, like they scoop. I mean,
hand-rolled Thai ice cream.
Yeah, I mean, and you know, you have a daycare, a doggy daycare that you
You're a puppy,
promote.
my pad.
Yeah, I mean, so it's amazing to see the enthusiasm behind you. And I don't think people really value the benefit that brings to them.
They don't.
Every time. No, because, I mean, a word-of-mouth referral is the best referral on the planet. And you literally give them every day, all day, for a gazillion people. And sometimes it turns into closed business, and sometimes it doesn't. But at least it lets people know, like 35 below, who would have thought that you would want to go to Tampa as a destination just to eat ice cream?
Yeah.
You know, we live in Pinellas. That's a long bridge ride, but it's worth it.
It's worth it.
It's kind of a show.
Yeah, it is.
You know?
They're just scooping the ice cream up. And
yeah.
They have the boba tea, and they just do a great job.
They do a great job.
My very first client was Michael Murphy Gallery, so over 16 years ago, and he gave me the shot to do his business. He never switched credit cards from the bank, and he gave me a hard time, but
well, that's kind of Michael, now that we know him, what he does.
Yeah, he's very particular.
He did a Peter Max show.
He did an amazing show. When you go into that gallery, you never know what it's going to look like. It just morphs every time. It's a new gallery every time you walk in.
Right, he does. And Peter Max, he brings kind of the best and the best, and I remember you out promoting that.
Yes.
Now, did he sell all those Peter Max through your credit card processing?
Yes.
So good for him. So Elisabeth, how could people get in touch with you?
They could reach me on my website, but I like for people to call my cell phone, 813-833-7449. And I find the perfect payment solution for any size customer.
I like it. So you are in the best business minds of Tampa Bay. I already knew that. But what would people learn from you from reading your chapter?
The very beginning of my career was tough because it was learning a whole new industry, and the whole world was learning a new industry. They were going to electronic credit card processing, and no one knew.
You remember the knuckle thing where you would...
Yeah, that was no fun. Trying to talk people into doing it electronically was not fun. They were used to taking the slips to the bank.
Right. And I mean, how prehistoric is that now?
I feel like a dinosaur.
Yeah.
And now, now we're spot on for all sorts of point of sale and restaurant processing.
Text messages, marketing.
Marketing out the door. It's just been a very, very wonderful trajectory the business has taken.
Which is amazing for your customers, right?
Yes, absolutely.
So the perfect payment, you have the perfect payment solution. So all those folks at different fairs and stuff that are coming up.
When they're using Square, they're not quite in aware of all the different options that they could use.
Right, well, you have freeswipers.com, right?
Yes.
And you have the ability to help people with the spot-on terminal, with the
Yes.
Wi-Fi terminal, where
Yes.
it can print out a receipt. So good referrals for you would be maybe that restaurant that literally takes your credit card away from the table and into the back room where you don't know if anybody's actually processing or copying it or
Right.
shopping on Amazon
Taking a
with it.
picture of it front and back.
Yeah, I mean,
So this spot-on terminal goes right to the table and put the chip in. It's touchless. It's wonderful.
right, especially in COVID, like you don't want people to take your credit card away and
right.
like the Lord knows what's going to happen with it.
Right.
All right, so tell us about the book and your experience so far.
Well, I enjoyed the fact that Shirley provided, the publisher provided some questions that were really germane to how to create a good story, to know where you began, where you are now, and all the little nuances in between. So I was glad to impart a little bit of what has made me a success in bringing benevolence to my business.
And now you're a published author. We got your autograph on our book, right? Hey, I mean, when you're dead, I'll be able to sell this book for buku bucks, right? Because those author signed copies go way up.
Oh, yeah.
Just so you know. So if I pass before you, be sure to grab it and sell it. So tell us your networking tip in the book.
The networking tip was to the golden rule, to impart to others what you would want to do for yourself. Whatever line of business you are, give more than you get.
I like it. So Elisabeth Butterfield, the connection queen, she's like the Oprah Winfrey of connections. She really is. You get a connection, and you get a connection, and you get a referral, and you get a referral, right?
Thank you.
That was a slip up at one of our meetings, I believe. I love it. So Elisabeth Butterfield, everybody, thank you very much,
Thank
Elisabeth. You did a
Appreciate
great
it.
job.
Thank you very much.
Hello, we are back with yet another author of The Best Business Minds in Tampa Bay. We're excited to feature 50 RGA members in the book, but we have here with us today Ron Queeny. Welcome, Ron.
Oh, thank you, Mark. Yeah.
So tell us, Ron, who you are and what you do.
All right, well, my name is Ron Queeny, and I'm the creative director of Tampa Hypnosis Center and QMastermindset.com. And I'm a hypnotist. I'm an author of a co-author of the Best Business Minds of Tampa Bay. And I'm excited to be here to have this conversation with you today.
I am too. So Ron, tell us what you guys do over at the Tampa Hypnosis Center.
Yes.
I'll get it right eventually.
Yes, well, I like to help people, create success and influence, and to help them create a better life, better health, and more happiness in their lives through hypnosis and NLP principles.
NLP, for folks that don't know, what does NLP stand for?
Neuro-linguistic programming. It was sort of the modeling of some of the best hypnotists and they created the NLP to understand some of the principles.
So many of our presidents in their speeches have used NLP because they understand the power in that. You know, because you, like me, want to make sure the book is a success on our media junket tour, and you, like me, want to make sure that all of our authors are featured, and you, like me, want to make sure that this is a success for all of us. Now, what did I do there to maybe share with our audience? I just told you 3 times, you like me. That's the neuro-linguistic programming, right? If
Yes.
you've ever listened to JFK's famous speech, he ended it with, ask not what you can do for you, ask what you can do for your country. But in his speech building up to that, I don't know how many times you were like, there it is again, there it is again. So that's an effective tool. Now, how do you bring that into your practice?
Yeah, well, to even bring that to a little more light, anybody that's a really charismatic speaker, they're using more of those principles of higher levels of communication to really build rapport with them. You know, some people are visual learners, some people are auditory, some people are kinesthetic. So a really good charismatic speaker speaking to all 3 of those groups. And there's a lot of just suggestive language in there.
Right. But it does take a special practice to know how to use that and to use it effectively. And I'm excited to find out more, to hopefully educate our fellow RGAers, because it will help them in sales, it will help them in their relationships at home, and it'll help them in their business and their employees, right? Effective communication. So Ron, tell us about the business coach aspect that you had mentioned, and the hypnotherapy that you do for folks.
Sure. I've been working with people, individuals mostly, one-on-one on Zoom since COVID. Prior to that, I was seeing people in my office. And I'm now creating a new program, Q Master Mindset, to help entrepreneurs and salespeople and teams to begin to understand the power of their minds to create success and influence with keyword phrases, how to have a better relationship with your own mind, your conscious mind, being able to communicate with the mind below the consciousness, and also how that affects our bodies emotionally. Once you start to understand that, you become a better communicator with yourself, and that makes you feel more comfortable when you're with others and on a presentation like this with you.
I know, because we're winging this today. We literally had our book launch on Tuesday, and John graciously said we have studio time. Who will join us? And so none of these are prepared. We're all just kind of going off the cuff, and we appreciate you guys being here at WeBeam TV. So Ron, tell us about the book. What kind of drew you to your chapter, and share with us your networking tip?
Yeah, well, when I found about the idea of the book, and to give me the opportunity to share this concept, especially the Q Master Mindset, to be able to share this with people so they really understand that power. The book was an opportunity for me to spread that news a little bit, be a bigger part of RGA, and you look at the other. What is part of the other question that
your networking tip? Everybody gave kind of a networking tip in the front of the book.
To be memorable, to when you meet people. What is it about being memorable? You want to be memorable because you're the guy that goes around yelling at everybody, or you want to be the person that smiles and we don't always smile all the time. We get these weird thoughts in our heads, but who are we? How do we feel about ourselves first?
Right.
And then when we meet other people, are we going with T-shirts with holes in them, or are we going there to help others? I find that when I help others, then I receive things in return. It might just be a good feeling, or it might be a new referral. It might be,
right.
Who knows? So
be memorable. I like that. That is, and I love the part where people be memorable in your 30-second commercial. Come up with a clever tagline that people can't forget. Like, I mean, Elisabeth hit it out of the park with the Oprah Winfrey of connections, right?
Yes, that was
and then
great.
You get a referral, yeah. I mean,
Yes.
that one, like, we laughed and laughed. So, I mean, you might want to pull out that pocket watch and maybe do that. I'm not going to hypnotize you to see me after the meeting. I don't know, just a thought. So, Ron Queeny, you're the Chief Creative Officer at the Tampa Hypnosis Center. I'll never get that right. Tampa Hypnosis Center. Ron,
Tongue twister.
it is a tongue twister. So thank you very much for being on the show, and we'll see you guys in a minute with another author. Well, welcome back, everybody. I'm Mark O'Donnell here with the best business minds of Tampa Bay. We have author Ewelina. Ewelina, tell the folks who you are and what you do.
I'm a life coach for immigrants, an empowerment coach for immigrants.
And tell everybody your whole name.
Ewelina Konyndyk.
I mean, I just think that's an amazing...
It's complicated.
I mean, it is,
yes.
well, it is for us Americans, but you are not from this country. You experienced some difficult things acclimating to the greatest country in the world, and you actually did something to help people get adjusted to our culture, which I think is super empowering. I mean, I read the book. But tell people why you became a life coach for immigrants.
Well, yes, because of my journey. It was not easy. I came by myself in 2005. I was working as a nanny in Michigan, and the very beginning was difficult just because everything was so new and different. But then later on, after I got married, and I just decided to move to the States permanently, not just visiting, I had a lot of issues just getting used to everything and deciding that this is my place now.
Right.
Because I'm a teacher. I have a degree in teaching from Poland, teaching Polish language, and there was no way for me to use it in Michigan. There's no Polish schools there.
Probably no good Polish restaurants in Michigan.
One or two, maybe.
Maybe?
Yeah, there are some. But I went through some very, very difficult moments in my life, a lot of confusion about who I am, and I think you could call it safely, it was identity crisis, what I went through.
Right.
And I didn't have anyone to talk to me about what was going on. I didn't really understand that it's very normal, that it can happen, what was going on. And I ended up actually going back to Poland with one-way ticket, not knowing if I'm coming back, completely confused, broken-hearted, because I had and have still a wonderful husband, and yet so confused.
You were going back without your husband.
Yeah, yeah. Back to Poland thinking, well, maybe I will figure it out back there. But the problem is that if you bring confused minds to Poland, it will remain confused. It doesn't matter where you're at. If you're confused in the States or in Poland. And, I kept on telling myself that I don't know what to do. And if I just had a coach who would have sat me down and said, we're going to figure this out.
Right.
Ask me some good questions, we would have figured it out without any of the drama. There was a lot of suffering, involved in this whole situation for me, for my husband, for my parents-in-law. I have a wonderful family here. I have a wonderful family in Poland.
Right.
My parents were confused. They were like, what is going on with her?
Right, they
What's
were
really-
probably concerned for you.
Oh,
Why
big
are you?
time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why is she
So-
coming back? Are they getting divorced? Like,
So-
there was a lot of
But
things, right?
what I love about the story is you took this fear and confusion and created literally a pathway to success to help others.
Yeah.
Right? Because if you can't help, I mean, I'm a full believer in the more people you help, you get what they want, the more you get what you want. What a wonderful idea, A. B, to put it into action, and then C, to see you now as an author in a book and telling your story here on WeBeam TV, right?
Yes, I'm very, very, very happy. It seems like a full circle.
It does, because if you think about it, most Americans are, we are a very closed community. I mean, I know people who haven't probably traveled 200 miles from where they were born ever. Mm-hmm. So I think the way you break down barriers and learn about other cultures and peoples and differences is by traveling and meeting other people and finding out that although we're different, we're still all human beings.
Absolutely.
And I can only imagine the struggle you faced, right? Speaking two languages, most people only speak one language, much less two, because in my thought process, I have to tell, am I saying the right, especially like for Spanish, are you saying the right adjective, right?
Oh, yes. Yeah.
So
English is so much easier than Polish.
Oh,
okay? It really is. It's so much. Polish is one of the hardest languages to learn. It's the fourth hardest language to learn in the world.
Now when you can help all immigrants, right?
Yeah.
So not just Polish immigrants, Spanish, people of French descent, anyone. So how can we get those people to contact you? They're watching right now and they want to talk to you. How do they get a hold of you?
Well, I have a website,
Okay.
lifecoachforimmigrants.com.
That's pretty simple. Lifecoachforimmigrants.com.
Easy to find me. You can also listen to my podcast, Empowerment for Immigrants. That's
I
the
like
title of
it.
it. So, yeah.
I like it. All right, so what was your tip in the book for networking?
Well, my tip was totally based on my experience. So I moved here back in July from Michigan to Sarasota back in July. And the very first networking meeting that I went to, I won't ever forget this moment. I was sitting in a car, looking in the mirror, in the visor, and just looking at my makeup. And my brain at that moment delivered the thought, you have pores on your face. You don't belong there. Like, did I have skin pores? Like, I'm not perfect. I'm not
Right.
good enough to go and hang out with other business owners because I have
Pores on
pores
your
on
face?
my skin.
We all have pores on
I
our
know,
face.
exactly,
Okay.
right? So how ridiculous this was. But it was all based on fear of me
Right.
going into an unknown situation. And every single human being, before you go to a networking meeting, you will have thoughts coming up. And you have to not believe them because they are literally coming from the lower part of the brain that's trying to protect you. It's giving you the scariest, the worst case scenarios, thinking that the situation you're going into, because you have not been in that situation, is going to be dangerous, right? So if you know that, you can walk right in, knowing that there's no danger, and meet amazing people. That's what happened to me with RGA.
I love
You
it.
know?
All right, so she's in the book, and we're going to be back with more authors right after this. Hey, welcome back. We are here with the best business minds of Tampa Bay. This is one of my favorite chapters in the book, Debbie.
Oh, very nice.
So Debbie Imus with Liberate Physician Centers, Tampa Bay. So tell us the journey. First of all, tell the folks, that's your camera there, tell the folks what Liberate Physician Centers is.
We are a family-owned medical marijuana clinic. We
So,
have 2 locations.
right? I mean, 10 years ago, we'd all be arrested for talking about this.
for sure.
So tell us the journey that got you to Liberate Physician Centers.
Well, I spent years as a financial representative, and I specialized in life insurance. So when it went, we were trying to pass the laws to get medical marijuana legal here in Florida, I started paying attention to it for my industry, and then just decided, as much as I help folks get life insurance, I could really help them now with medical marijuana.
Right, and stay off of opioids
Exactly.
and all those really bad narcotics that
Yeah.
people get on for pain and suffering
Sure.
and lack of sleep and all those addictive,
Yeah.
terrible, terrible drugs
We
that
see
are
it
pushed
all.
by pharmacists all over the country. But you not only open one clinic, you open 2 clinics.
Yeah, we are literally Tampa Bay. We've got one in Pinellas and Largo and one in Tampa. in
Right,
Hillsborough.
and you're literally around the corner from everywhere. You strategically positioned these that I was trying to figure on the map. There's not a 20-minute drive from if you live in the Tampa Bay area
Yeah, you
to
can
your
get to us.
clinics.
Yeah.
Yeah, so to educate people about marijuana, because a lot of people remember the 60s and that there was that crazy movie.
There's still so much stigma.
But stigma and just like the wackadoodleness of
Yeah.
not knowing what this plant can do. Not only can it make rope and clothes and furniture and insulation,
Yeah.
it's medication.
Yes.
I always say, man made alcohol, God made marijuana, who do you trust? That's me. But coming from a clinic side of the view,
Yeah.
explain to people the difference.
Yeah, I mean, it's a huge difference. It's a natural medication. There's so many conditions that we can treat folks for. I'd say in our clinics, the most prevalent conditions are pain, and then mental health disorders. So those would be the 2 biggest conditions that we're seeing people for.
And so a lot of people don't know that their experience with the marijuana is the munchies and then do the kind of the lethargic state of mind
That's
that you're
the
in.
indicas.
But there are 2.
Yeah.
People don't realize that
Yeah.
there's sativa
And
indicas.
yeah.
And the indica.
And then we've got the hybrids, which, are a blend of
Right.
the 2.
Which I found one that's allegedly a house cleaning at the beginning, and then you want to go watch a movie and fall asleep.
Afterwards,
Which
yeah.
I thought, wow, that's a great idea,
yeah.
right? When you get done cleaning
Sure.
the house, put that movie on and have a nice nap. But all seriousness aside, the pathways to replacing opioid addictive narcotics is an amazing step forward
Yeah.
for this industry.
Yeah.
So, I forget there was a shocking statistic that so many people for the oxy derivatives of narcotics after 10 doses became addicted. 10 doses.
Right.
Right, so if they broke their arm, they usually get them QID, which is 4 times a day.
Yeah.
So in 2.5 days, they were addicted. That doesn't happen with
It does not happen. And you don't have overdose issues also with medical marijuana that you have with the opioids.
Right. So 2 clinics. Where are the clinics?
We've got one in Largo on Seminole Boulevard, and then we also have one in Tampa on North Florida Avenue.
right in like the Hyde Park kind
Yes.
of area.
Yeah,
So in
Carrollwood's right close.
These guys, they're true medical doctors.
Yes.
Right. These aren't like some hippie from the
No,
60s.
no.
So
And we're family owned, so you come into the office, more than likely you're going to see one of my daughters.
okay.
Because they go back
or
and
you.
forth, or me. We go back and forth between the 2 offices.
Right.
We've got a friend from Orange Park that moved down here with us. She's in the Tampa office.
So it's good for, you said, schizophrenia, for mental disorders, for pain, for
Insomnia.
Insomnia. That was my biggest thing.
That's what
because-
I got mine for initially.
yeah,
was
because I
insomnia.
did the Ambien thing,
Yeah.
and I literally went through the drive-through of a fast food restaurant in my jammies and did not know that I went to the fast food till I got up the next morning and found the food still in the bag
Wow.
on the kitchen table. And right then and there I said, I need to go get a
Yeah.
medical marijuana prescription.
Yeah.
And they took me off of that bad drug, which was addictive.
And I was about to say, it made a difference, didn't it?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, and I don't have to use it every night, but when I need to sleep, it's there, which is amazing. So, Deb, how people can't just call you and get a card. They actually go through a process.
They go through a process. You have to either be a state resident or what we call a seasonal resident. You have to have a condition that we can certify you for. We get those medical records. They either provide them or we get them from, a physician or specialist. They see our doctor, and then they apply for the card with the state of Florida.
And they're good for like 7 months now.
Yeah, the doctors you see every 7 months. The card itself is good for a year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So that's exciting.
Yeah.
So this is Deb. She can help you out. Like if you have somebody who's thinking about trying narcotic pain relievers, stop right there. So
Yeah.
if you know a doctor that's open-minded, introduce her. Somebody, maybe an orthopedic surgeon or someone there. There's the locations right now,
Yeah.
guys. See how convenient they are. We hope much success. What's your networking tip in the book?
My networking tip is no matter how uncomfortable it is, join a networking group and preface it with, how can I help you?
I like it. All right, we're going to be back with more authors right after this. So we are here with the mastermind, best-selling author, 83 times on the New York Times list, the Amazon bestseller list, the mastermind behind the best business minds in Tampa Bay, my friend and co-author,
That's
I like
right.
saying that, my friend and co-author, Miss Shirley Jump. Welcome,
you.
Shirley.
Thanks for having me. It's so fun to be back here again.
I know, and like what a ride this whole week has been.
I
Book
know.
launch, like all the, I so admire you being able to deal with 50 different personalities and not saying the MF word like I did, not once, right?
No, everybody was lovely, and it was just great to learn the stories behind their businesses and how they got to where they are. And with lots of people that I've known through the networking group for a long time, I learned stuff about them that I had never known before. and that
50
was great.
people. These are
That's right.
50 professionals that educate and inspire you that you can be an entrepreneur as well.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the whole process to me was seamless and easy, but all I had to do was one chapter, right? But oh my gosh, what is that blinding thing? It keeps blinding me from the studio. Congratulations, you just got engaged.
That's
Wait,
right.
show the folks
the
that ring.
meteorite? Yeah.
Yeah, isn't that, well, congratulations.
Thank you.
The nuptials, that's very exciting.
Yes,
it is.
Yes.
So what how did this come about in your mind?
The nuptials or the best business minds?
Well, the nuptials, we all know. You met a guy. And,
Right.
you know.
So the best business minds, one of the things that I like the best about RGA Network is that we are focused on people's stories. That when you sit down to have what we call a meeting, outside of a meeting, that you want to get to know the other person as a person and what their purpose is and why they're here, rather than just be like, here, buy my things.
Right.
And so I thought it would be great to have a book that did that for the membership and gave them a tool that they could give to their clients, to their customers, to other members, that would tell everybody who they really were.
It's like a mom on steroids,
That's right.
a meeting outside the meeting,
That's
or
right.
a discussion after dinner. We do moms and dads, but keep going.
That's right, and that's exactly where the idea came from. But we wanted it to have value to everybody that read it. It's not just like, how did you get in the business? It's also, what kind of advice do you have for other people that want to make the most of the network that they have? So that's why we have those two different components to it. So it's hopefully a really compelling read because you're learning about all of these people's great stories behind the reason why they do what they do, and then also networking advice that you can use because it's worked for them.
For me, I literally got the book that wasn't bound and read it cover to cover.
That's awesome.
And I probably dropped it 3 times, right? And I literally put the pages back together. But I'm into it. But I think anybody who cracks a book that's thinking about becoming an entrepreneur or just wants like more success as a small business professional should read the book, because there is literally, from a medical marijuana clinic to an 83-time best-selling New York Times author, right, to a graphic designer, to a DJ.
Right.
I mean, there is like every walk of life in the book, and they wrote the book on it.
They did.
Right? You
And
know?
they're some very smart people with some really great advice to share.
100%. I mean, they truly are the best business minds in Tampa Bay.
They are.
So tell us, you are busy writing. I found out the other day she writes between 10 and 12 to 14 books a year, folks. I mean, I'm still working on my one book, right? I did a chapter. I'm working on actually it's a musical for RGA, but tell us about the new book.
So this, I believe, is number 83, Writing Compelling Fiction. I'm a fiction author originally. I've published, 78 fiction novels, I believe, over the course of my career. And I teach and speak a lot everywhere that I go. So I wanted to put everything that I know, basically, into one book. And that's where Writing Compelling Fiction came from. Before it was even released, it was a #1 bestseller on Amazon, which was awesome. And it's gotten really great reviews, and it's been doing really well. And it gives everybody, just like any other business person, I can't be everywhere at one time. So when I have people that want my editing or consulting skills, I'm like, here, you get a lot of information out of this, and then see if you still need me after that. Because I can't help every single person.
Right, you can't be everywhere, right? But you are looking for somebody who has a compelling story that you could help them with the journey of writing their book, that maybe that's not in their wheelhouse, because we do teach you at RGA, do what you do best and farm the rest. So farming the rest would be hiring you to do a book, because you instantly become an expert in your field when you have a book, right?
You differentiate yourself. People are going to remember you. They're going to remember the DJ that has a book. I mean, how many DJs have you ever met that are authors, right?
I tried to look up that DJ Fallon that's on that. He does have a book, but he wrote it like 10 or 15 years ago.
And I've never met him, so I won't remember him, but I will remember DJ Hoof in our book that has a book. That's the great thing about being an author. It's kind of like being a unicorn. It's a very rare thing, even with as many books as there are out nowadays. And my job is to create a product that not only makes the client look really good and uses the best of their advice or whatever their story is, but also to become a tool that can help them increase their revenue. So whether they're going to be teaching or coaching or speaking or whatever it is, we're going to create a product that can help them do that, but that also sounds and looks great and is worth the investment of the reader's time.
I like it. So how many people do you think you've helped write their story?
I think I've done about 100, maybe 110 books over the course of my career.
Wow.
So, and I usually have 15 to 20 clients at any given time. So yeah, there's a lot. And they all have different stories. They all have different approaches. They're all different to work with, which is really cool to me because I understand that everybody's creativity differs.
Sure.
And so I change how I work with people depending on how they like to work with me.
So how can people get in touch with you?
Jumpstartcreativesolutions.com. I'm right there. I'm also also on Facebook as Shirley Jump, and then I have a Jumpstart Creative Solutions page on Facebook. But feel free to email me or message me through the website, and you can have your book out too before you know it.
Or you could go on our Facebook group, Best Business Minds of Tampa Bay, right? And see all of us at the book launch party. Shirley, it's been a journey for me, and what a wild ride. I can't thank you enough for bringing this credibility to RGA. What was your networking tip?
Mine was to learn the story behind everybody's reason for being in business, because that's where it all starts, is with the story.
Perfect for the writer. This is the Best Business Minds in Tampa Bay, and we wrote the book on it.
That's right.